We've got a Mortgage 101 for you today, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it is wrong. Mortgage 101. So what are we going to chat about? Let me get the notes for this report. How to use your home equity. That's what we're going to talk about. How to use your home equity to buy another home, a step-by-step solution. So we're going to get that going for you right now. So first off, appreciation. What is appreciation? So appreciation is the difference between the value or the growth. I'm sorry about that. Let me get back. Appreciation is how your home value is growing. Now, if you bought your house for $500,000 and it's gone to $600,000, that's appreciated by $100,000. Now, we don't care about median prices. We don't care that Chapman said median are going down. That's a worthless statistic. We've been watching all kinds of numbers that's showing that home values are going up. Yes, the end of last year, they dropped a little bit. We've recovered that. And on 5 out of the 6 different metrics that we follow, we're at all-time highs. So not only have we caught up with everything that we lost at the end of last year, we're above that now. So we're seeing that appreciation growing. That's part of home equity. So what is home equity? You take the current value of your property and you subtract the amount you owe. Now, if you've had your loan for any length of time, you've been making payments on it. Portion of your payment goes to interest. That's the biggest portion. But a small percentage of it, if it's a new loan, or a larger percentage if it's an older loan, goes to your principal. And as that principal comes down, that lowers your loan amount, your principal balance. You take the amount of your property value, subtract the balance, and that's your equity. So if you've got that same $600,000 valued property, you had originally bought it for $400,000, but you put, just say 5% down, that's $380,000. Now you've been making payments, so maybe it's just at $375,000. So you've got a $600,000 property that has a $375,000 mortgage on it. And if I'm doing all these off the top of my head, so I may have a number wrong here and there. So you've got $225,000 in equity there. Now, what can you do with that equity? Well, maybe you can go in and tap into it. There are a lot of different ways you can tap into it. You can go into a home equity loan. That's one of them. It doesn't affect the first mortgage. So if you've got a $500,000 or $400,000 first mortgage, it stays there. And I get a lot of people that say, well, I like that first mortgage being where it is because I took it out 3 years ago and I've got a very low interest rate. Got it. So you can do that with the home equity loan. And again, it's nothing more than a loan on the equity of your property. So we like that. That's one of the ways that you can tap in to the equity there. So you've got the home equity loan. That's going to be generally, it's a fixed term. You start making payments on it right away. And, the market interest rate is kind of high right now, but it is what it is. Now, you can also go into a home equity line of credit. Now, that's a whole nother story. So the home equity line of credit kind of works like a credit card tied to the house, usually with an adjustable rate mortgage, and allows you access to equity without touching the first mortgage. Again, that's another good one. Now, in many instances on the home equity line of credit, you've got a 10-year interest-only payment period, and then you've got a 20-year repayment period. Don't worry as much about the repayment period. It's going to get calculated in there, but don't worry about that as much because most people tend to restructure in that 10-year period. So I don't know that you really end up getting to where that the principal and interest is being paid together. But let's go back to where we were. So you've got that home equity line of credit there, and you're able to tap into the equity. The beauty of that, as opposed to the home equity loan, you can take a loan out, you get the money. If you've got the new property to buy, okay, don't worry about it. You're going to use it. But if you didn't find a new property to buy, you're paying interest on that while it's sitting there doing nothing for you. On the home equity line of credit, you're not paying any interest on it, but if you go to get a new piece of property, you're going to be taking out a loan on that property. Someone's going to need to know what is going to be the payment on it. Probably in your best interest to be looking at it and saying, okay, can I go with probably in your best interest to use the same lender for your line of credit and your new acquisition? Because if you remember when we started this conversation, our goal was to be buying a new piece of property, right? That's what we talked about here at the very beginning, is how to use your equity to buy another home. That's what we're working toward. So as we work toward that process, we need to keep that ultimate goal in mind. I've told you this before, when you're dealing with a professional loan officer, what we're going to do is we're going to be trying to figure out what is your long-term goals. You know, just a internet lead or internet officer or online service, their goal is to get you the loan on the property you need right now. They're not generally coming about it from a financial planning standpoint. So on the home equity line of credit, you're accessing that. You want to have your loan officer know what the payment is going to be on that loan if you end up getting a new first on the acquisition property, and you're using the home equity line of credit in order to make your down payment. Well, how much is the cost of that going to be? Got to understand those things. You have to understand how all of these things play in to your debt to income ratios. And again, we need to also be looking at a perfect reason, again, for the home equity line of credit is you don't have to take that balance. I suggest that most everybody have a home equity line of credit. I'm not a big fan of the home equity line of credit, but the reason I suggest you have it is we're looking into some uncertain times going forward. We don't know what the future is going to bring. As we look into these uncertain times, having that home equity line of credit is a great security blanket for you. If you lose your job, if your hours are cut, you can tap into that. Now, try and get the home equity line of credit if you've lost your job. You're not going to get it. So make sure you've taken care of those parts of things in advance. Appreciation, what is it? Home equity, what is home equity? Tapping into your equity, the home equity loan, a home equity line of credit. We talked about all those things. Let's get to interest rates and debt management. So again, with interest rates, I know that so many people are excited about that 3% mortgage that you have. And there's nothing wrong with being excited about the 3% mortgage as long as it's helping you get to your goals. Take a look, rsr3pctloan.com. rsr3pctloan.com might show you that, something that 3% mortgage is killing you. rsr3pct, like percent, 3pctloan.com. So why do I talk about that? Well, because I know a lot of folks want to protect that low interest rate. They're worried about taking on new debt, especially if that new debt does not generate income. Taking on new debt to generate income is not bad. When you're in economic uncertainty, well, maybe, like I said before the break, get that home equity line of credit. And yes, you can call our friends at Geneva Financial to get that. But take out that home equity line of credit just as a standby safety net. And you can have that just sitting there. Doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. I mean, it'll cost a little bit of money to get it set up. But in the scheme of things, having that money sitting there so that you don't have to worry might be very, very valuable to you. So now let's talk about a new mortgage. So taking out a HELOC or the home equity loan does add a second mortgage payment affecting the qualification for a new mortgage. So again, that's why you're working with a loan professional, an advisor, a planner, so that they understand what you're trying to accomplish and set it up the right way, right? Because that new debt is going to have an effect. That's why I say talk to a lender, capable of handling both transactions, the equity tapping and the new mortgage, it'll make life a whole lot easier for you. Because number one, if you're going, and again, our friends at Geneva, licensed in, I think, 48 states. So most likely, wherever you're thinking of buying, Geneva Financial is licensed to help. So you can give a call our team. If our team isn't licensed there already, and we've got licenses in a lot of them, one of our team members will have it. So we've talked about the getting a new mortgage, and yeah, you can get a new mortgage to tap into that equity. Might in the long run be beneficial for you. Again, we talked to the planner to see if that's the case. But how do we determine the value of that property you have right now? Because we're still in the mindset that we're remembering our goal is we're using our equity to buy another home. So we need to know what's the value of our property. RSRmoney.com is a starting point. You know, you go to an estimate like Zillow or a couple of the others that are online, you know, they're not going to really be the greatest resources for you.
I got a bad feeling about this.
But everybody thinks Zillow's got the right answers. So when you go to RSR Money, RSR Home Scout actually is the easier spot. RSR Home Scout, go to the fourth button over, and you can actually look and see what the value of your property is. There's 4 different sources, including Zillow, and you can see, get a good idea. But the real truth is going to be with an appraisal. Now, an appraisal is going to cost somewhere between $500 and $700. You know, you're not going to pay that for Zillow or Redfin. And again, the appraisal is going to be the valuable tool. Now, what I would recommend is, and again, it's not self-serving. We don't make any money on appraisals. You go to SLT Loan App. That's going to be the place where you can get a loan application going with our friends at Geneva for California, rsrloanapp.com. That'll be the other states. So again, sltloanapp.com, California loan application, rsrloanapp.com. That's the other states' loan application with our friends at Geneva Financial. You can ask them to order the appraisal for you. Why would you do that? Well, in order for an appraisal to be of value in a loan process, it must be ordered by through an appraisal management company. The appraisal management company is a third party, and then Geneva can actually use that appraisal. If you go and get an appraisal on your own, and I can tell you places to get appraisers that'll do an appraisal for you, you're going to pay the money, it's going to give you the education, but it's not going to be usable in the sphere of the loan. So that's why we want to go to our friends at Geneva Financial, get that loan done. Now, you can do a cash out refi. What is a cash out refi? So you've set up the loan application. You've done that through the 2 links that I already gave you. You're going, and we'll put them in the notes for this below as well. So you're going to go, then you're going to go and get a cash out refi. The appraisal is going to say your property value is, say, and again, I'm just going to use a round number. I'm going to say $500,000 is the property value. You've owned the property for a year or more, and you've got 20% equity, let's say. So you've got a $400,000. You can get a loan, and maybe you owe $300,000. So now you've got $100,000, less a little bit of fees there, but you're going to put in your pocket. That's the cash out refi. Now, one of the downsides of that is it's going to be at the current interest rate. It's not going to be at your same 3 or 4% interest rate. That's a downside. It's going to increase the loan balance and the interest rate, so it's going to have a higher payment. So those are all characteristics of that cash out refi. Is it the right solution for you? I don't know. I don't know your solution. Educating you step-by-step options right here. There is another option. It's called a bridge loan. Again, not a whole lot of lenders do it. Geneva Financial does. The bridge loan, it taps into the home equity before putting the house on the market. So you've got that house, and let's say it's in Yorba Linda. And yeah, you're not going to find that $500,000 house in Yorba Linda. There's not many of them. So let's say it's $1,200,000 is the property in Yorba Linda. And now you're going to say, okay, we're going to get 20% of that. So now you're going to get a $960,000 loan, and you owed $600,000. You've got $360,000 available, but wait a second, we're talking about a bridge loan here. We're not selling Yorba Linda yet. We're getting the bridge loan, so we still have access to some of that equity, but we use that equity to go and buy a new house. So let's say we can use 200,000 of it to go buy a new house on I'm doing it off the top of my head. Let's say we're buying another 1.2 million, or say $1 million house. Because remember, we might be using it as a rental. So we're buying another piece of property, or maybe you're going to move into it. I don't know what you're going to do with it. But the bottom line is we can use some of that equity to go and buy that new property. Yes, in the bridge loan, Geneva is going to have a lien on both properties. But what if you want to just sell the departing property? You know, if it doesn't work out to keep them both, well, now you sell that property that you were leaving and you take the equity from that and you pay off the bridge loan. Again, now, why would you do that? Right now, inventory is very, very tight. With inventory being as tight as it is, it's difficult to get a purchase done if it's a contingent purchase. Ron, you're bringing in more terms. What is a contingent purchase? Well, on the residential purchase agreement, there's a box that says this purchase of this property is contingent upon us doing X. X in this case is selling the departing property. Now, if the seller of the new property that you want to acquire has 4 or 5 offers and you're the only one that's contingent, they're not going to accept your offer. They're going to look at the other ones that are non-contingent. But if you've got that bridge loan from our friends at Geneva Financial or whomever you want to get a bridge loan from, then what happens is you can go in there and you're basically buying the property and you've got your loan is already approved. Just finished doing one of those in California and Idaho. Departing property, California, acquisition, Idaho. So basically able to go in is almost like a cash offer because you're not contingent on a new loan on the acquisition property. So that's another one. Again, you need to have a skilled realtor that understands how to do these things. I talk to realtors all the time, all over the country, so I can put you in touch with a realtor that understands the process for both sides. Am I a realtor? Yes, I have a license, but I don't practice real estate. I do radio every morning and I lead a lending team. So got a lot of options here. So tips that we want to make sure that your warnings and tips, be cautious with online property valuations. Again, work with the same loan officer, both the purchase and the departing property, or the home equity line and the home equity loan. Want to work with the same individual on that, or the bridge loan. You can do that all as well. If you're thinking about selling your property, your departing property, make sure your real estate agent or lender gets you a net sheet so you understand all of the costs involved in the transaction. A lot of moving parts on there. That's why I suggest give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'm happy to put you in touch with people that understand these things. It's just a simple process, but I make it look simple because I've been doing this for many, many decades. There are other people that, think they understand it, and we have to consult them and share with them, okay, this is what we're trying to accomplish, and this is how to do it. Again, our team understands these things. Make sure you're working with somebody that understands what you're trying to accomplish, how to accomplish it, and how to meet your goals. And don't always take no for an answer. That's Mortgage 101, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it's wrong. What are you doing about it?